3D printing can seem complex at first, but it's a fascinating and accessible technology. Whether you're a hobbyist, a designer, or a student, getting started with 3D printing is easier than you might think. This guide will walk you through everything you need to know to start 3D printing from scratch. Here's a step-by-step process for beginners to understand how to use a 3D printer. Step 1. Understand the basics of 3D printing. 3D printing, also known as additive manufacturing, involves creating three-dimensional objects by layering materials based on digital designs. There are different types of 3D printers, but fused deposition modeling, or FDM, is the most common for beginners. Key terms to know include 3D printer, which is the machine that prints objects layer by layer. Filament, the material used for printing, usually plastic like PLA, ABS, or PETG. CAD, or computer-aided design, which is the software used to create or modify digital 3D models, and slicing software, which takes your 3D model and converts it into a series of layers for the printer to follow. Step 2. Choose the right 3D printer. For beginners, choosing the right 3D printer is essential. Here are a few options. Entry-level printers, which are affordable, easy to use, and great for beginners. Some popular models include the Creality Ender 3, Anycubic i3 Mega, or Prusa Mini. Resin printers are another option if you want high-resolution prints for smaller objects, like the Elegoo Mars or Anycubic Photon, but they require more maintenance and handling of chemicals. Key features to consider include build volume, which is the size of the objects you can print, resolution, where higher resolution means finer detail but may increase printing time, and ease of use, so look for user-friendly printers with good community support and tutorials. Step 3. Set up your 3D printer. Once you've chosen your printer, setting it up is the next step. While the process can vary depending on the model, most 3D printers come with detailed instructions. Assemble the printer, as some printers come pre-assembled, while others may require you to put together parts like the frame, extruder, and heated bed. Level the print bed, which is crucial for successful prints. The bed should be level so that the first layer of filament adheres properly. Many printers come with an auto bed leveling feature, but if yours doesn't, you'll need to manually adjust the screws. Load the filament by inserting the filament spool into the printer and then feeding it through the extruder. Most printers use PLA filament for beginners, as it's easy to use and doesn't require a heated bed. Step 4. Find or create a 3D model. Now that your printer is set up, you need a 3D model to print. You can download pre-made models from websites like Thingiverse, MyMiniFactory, or Cults, which offer a large library of free and paid 3D models ready for printing. If you're more ambitious, you can design your own models using CAD software. Free software options like Tinkercad, which is beginner-friendly, Fusion 360, and Blender, which is more advanced, are great choices. When designing or downloading a model, make sure it's in a format compatible with your printer, usually STL or OBJ files. Step 5. Slice the 3D model. Once you have your model, you need to prepare it for printing. This is where slicing software comes in. Slicing software converts your 3D model into printable instructions. Popular slicing software includes Cura, which is free, widely used, and compatible with most printers. Prusa Slicer, which is great for Prusa printers. And Simplify 3D, which is paid but has advanced features. To slice a model, import your 3D model into the slicer, adjust print settings like layer height, infill density, print speed, and temperature, then slice the model, which will create a G-code file, a set of instructions for the printer. Save the G-code file to an SD card, or send it directly to your printer via USB or Wi-Fi, depending on your model. Step 6. Start printing. With everything set up, you're ready to print your first object. Preheat the printer to make sure the extruder and heated bed are at the right temperature for the filament you're using. For PLA, this is typically around 200 degrees C for the extruder and 60 degrees C for the bed. Begin the print by inserting the SD card or connecting the printer to your computer. Start the print via the printer's interface. The printer will begin by laying down the first layer of filament, which is crucial for adhesion. Monitor the print by keeping an eye on it, especially in the first few layers. If you notice warping or poor adhesion, you may need to adjust the bed or the settings. Step 7. Post-processing and finishing. Once the print is complete, it's time to clean up and finish the object. Remove the print carefully from the bed once cooled. You may need a spatula or scraper for better leverage. Trim supports, as most prints require support structures to hold overhangs. Use small tools like pliers or clippers to remove these supports. Smooth the print if necessary by sanding it for a smoother finish. You can also use acetone for ABS prints or primer for a polished look. If desired, you can paint the object with spray paint or acrylic paints. Step 8. Troubleshooting common problems. As a beginner, you might encounter a few issues along the way. Common problems include warping, where the corners of your print may lift off the bed. This can be prevented by ensuring the bed is properly leveled and using a heated bed. Under-extrusion can occur if your print is weak or the layers don't stick, which may mean your printer is not extruding enough filament. Check for clogs or increase the extrusion multiplier in the slicer. Layer misalignment can happen due to mechanical issues or an improperly calibrated printer. Recalibrate the printer and check for loose parts. Step 9. Experiment and have fun. The best way to learn 3D printing is through experimentation. Try different designs, materials, and settings to see how it affects your print quality. Over time, you'll get more comfortable and be able to create more advanced objects. Conclusion. 3D printing is an exciting hobby and tool that can open up countless creative possibilities. By following these steps, you'll be well on your way to creating your own 3D printed objects in no time. Happy printing! Bonus tips for beginners. Start with simple prints to get familiar with the process. Learn from the community by joining 3D printing forums and online communities for support, tips, and inspiration. Practice patience, as 3D printing can take time. Your first few prints may not be perfect, but you'll improve with each one.